This is a football podcast, so we don't need to know that, and we don't need to know football either, because this is just for y'all. But let's get into it. Let's talk about the week. And you know what the best part of this week was? You know what our little holiday gift was?
What?
The Chiefs fucking losing. Finally. Oh, it was a beautiful thing.
Shout out to the Bills.
Shout out the Bills. You earned it. And you know what? Just for that, if you want to win the Super Bowl, I will root against you anyway. But I'll be okay if you win.
I won't.
You earned it, buddy. I'm rooting for Josh. Not the Bills, but Josh, you got this. Go get him, Allen.
Okay, well,
But yeah, the Chiefs finally fall. And it was a beautiful thing. It was a great run by Josh Allen. He earned it. Now, but outside of that, of the real life football news, I do want to discuss, because this week, probably the biggest trade that we'll see this season happened between me and my co-host here.
Howdy.
In our trade of what was essentially Jonathan Taylor for Justin Herbert. And Tyler, how are you feeling about that trade thus far?
You know, Jonathan Taylor didn't have a great week, but still really happy to get that trade done. Honestly, that was a goal of mine throughout the season, was to move Justin Herbert. With having Bo Nix kind of go off and Herbert, I don't know if he started more than maybe one game for me all year. Happy to be able to move him and get some value back, especially in a position that I was very weak in. So we're still feeling good about that trade. Happy we got it done.
Yeah, and you know, I'm glad that Herbert had a good game this week, because it definitely made me feel better about that trade. You know, trading a starting piece for what was a backup piece for you never feels great, but man, I needed the quarterbacks. It was rough goings. And that's how we go. That's how you win in this league. You got to get those trades going.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
and
very rarely do you see a trade with names this big, this late in the season, you know?
yeah, I agree.
agreed.
And on that note, I also do want to mention, with Matt here, that trade with getting Devonte Adams, Jalen Waddle. I guess I was wrong. I really thought Jalen Waddle would be better during that trade. Turns out Matt gave up a player that could potentially be dropped to get Devonte Adams. So kudos to you.
Good moves.
Good moves, but yeah,
It just
and
might still suck, but Adams is pulling his weight a little bit.
Adams is
Getting
doing
around.
decent, and you know,
Yeah.
hey, and for that you've moved up in the power rankings. I'll tell you that coming up later this episode.
Yeah.
You're up, but
I mean, I did just, speaking of teams falling, Toya Scoundrels, number one team overall, they
Yeah.
only ended up scoring 135 points against me.
Thank
yeah,
you.
And did eventually
took them down as
Go down.
well.
Good job.
Oh, yeah,
Much appreciated.
the Twee division, both of its top two teams, me and Victor, both lost, and I got whooped. I'm currently still getting whooped by Sam.
I see that.
Joe Mixon is continuing to whoop me as we speak. And I need Nico Collins in another league to be doing better, so it's really this is getting stressful, honestly. But
I mean, it doesn't help you that Mostert,
Mostert, yeah.
a negative 0.2 points.
Don't worry, Tracy will be back next week, and everything will be fine. And I'm not gonna regret getting rid of Jonathan Taylor, and everything's gonna be okay. And that's how it's gonna go. And everything will be hunky dory. And moving on. Back to real football. Moving on. Back to real football, because I have no actual order to this stuff. And I want to talk about the NFC North. In a little thing, I just want to say the NFC North is kicking and screaming. The NFC North is throwing hands like crazy. The Ravens Steelers game was coming to blows, I swear, after every other play. And on top of that, just to point out, Chris Boswell, one of the Steelers kicker, kicked 6 for 6, kicked 6 field goals. No touchdowns were scored by the Steelers. They still won off of those 6 field goals, which is the second time Chris Boswell has won the game off of 6 field goals this year.
Oh, I already thought that was kind of wild, and then you said this
Yeah.
year. That's
That's
something
also
else.
wild.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Meanwhile, the 3 other teams in this division, every one of their kickers this week missed 2 field goals. Justin Tucker, Evan McPherson, Dustin Hopkins all missed 2 field goals. There were an equal amount of field goals missed by the division as Chris Boswell made. And I just find that wild that people can't make their kicks. I feel like early in the season, like week 1, we were like, oh shit, it's a kicker's league now. Everyone's hitting these 50-something yarders, all that. And now Justin Tucker can't even hit a 43-yarder to save his life. But,
Feels bad, man. Feels
yeah,
bad.
kicking and screaming. The NFC
You're
North.
really proud of that segment name, that little pun, whatever
I
you
am.
call it.
I am.
You should be. It was good. It was a good one.
Thanks.
applaud it.
Now, as far as injuries go, no major injuries. Kittle was out, but that didn't stop Gabe from playing him, even though Gabe lost by 4 points. And, what if you maybe played a tight end? You'd actually be tied with all the other teams to win the division. But, whatever. Kincaid also missed some time. He hasn't been doing too hot anyway.
Boo.
Yep. And, I mean, who even cares when Taysom Hill's out here playing every single position on the offense and
Or when
and he's
Jonnu
on
Smith
waivers.
is just chilling.
Johnny Smith just chilling, going crazy. But another fun guy coming back, Anthony Richardson, comes in, actually has himself a good day.
Dude,
Solid 66% completion rating.
I don't know what they're doing. Like, I don't get what their game plan is. I've never seen an NFL team just switch back and forth between 2 starting quarterbacks like this.
No, I'll tell you. I'm going to give you the whole storyline. I'm going to tell you what happened. They got
Remember,
Richardson.
Josh has the script.
I got the script, remember. Although they did a rewrite without me knowing with the Bills beating the Chiefs. I didn't see that one coming.
Didn't
But-
see that.
Yeah, I didn't see that rewrite. Honestly, I guess I'm not for it. But I wanted to see them crushed in the Super Bowl. But so the Colts start with Richardson. He's bad. He got injured. Flacco comes in, plays well. Woo. They put Richardson back in. Then Richardson takes himself out on a play because he's tired. I don't know if you guys saw this.
Yes.
Richardson
I saw
sat a
that.
play out because he was tired.
Admitted it too.
Yeah, and then said that to the press.
Yes.
Said, "Yeah, press, I was tired. I'm the first quarterback ever to be too tired to play a snap of football." So, as punishment, that was the straw. It broke the camel's back. And they're like, "All right, fine. Flacco was playing well. We'll put Flacco in. That's what you get. We're going to go start winning with Flacco, just like the Browns did last year." And then Flacco started sucking. Because, he's old and was on a couch. So, now they're just like, well, shit. If we're not going to win, and we're not going to keep Flacco, we should probably just play Richardson so we can get the practice. So, Anthony's back. And hopefully he's learned something in his time sitting. Maybe he has, because he played better. But
They could still make
yeah.
the playoffs, too. It's not
still
likely,
could.
but they're not eliminated.
yeah, they have a chance.
That's wild.
So, but yeah, we'll see. I'm rooting for Richardson. I want him to make a comeback here. But you know who's not making a comeback? Danny Dimes, baby. He's fucking as Tommy DeVito comes in.
Getting benched for Tommy DeVito is just gotta feel bad.
That's wild. That's a wild move.
And-
But
And there's
I
more
respect it.
behind this as well, which is that Daniel Jones has in his contract, if he gets injured, then
Yeah.
a big chunk of his contract becomes guaranteed. So if they're just like, okay, well, we're not going to win, sit this guy so he doesn't get injured, so we don't have to pay him more because he's gone, and get Tommy DeVito in there. They also have Drew Lock, who's probably better than Tommy DeVito, but they're not playing to win. They're playing for that pick, baby.
Did
First
you know
pick of the
that
draft.
one of the reasons that they're most likely not playing Drew Lock is that Drew Lock also has contract stipulations about if he plays a certain amount of games, if he has a certain passer rating in a game. Yeah, so they're definitely just like saving money by playing Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, save that money. They brought Drew Lock in to win games just in case. They're not trying to win games. They're saving money, getting a pick.
Yeah,
that is it.
They're drafting a quarterback, baby.
Yes, sir. We'll see who. And surely that'll fix everything. Malik Neighbors the rest of the season will be sporadic, I'm sure. But that's how it be. Now, one guy, speaking of Malik Neighbors, one guy that's been another rookie that's been going off. That is, I think, my favorite rookie of this year. And the best name of any rookie that I've seen recently is Brock Bowers. A star of the Bongside Kicks, however bad they may be in the standings. He'll be a great keeper next year. And coming off of
this team right here.
Yeah. Coming off
Absolutely.
of this massive performance of 16 targets, over 100 yards, I just want to give some trivia to go over how good this guy is. And so our first question is, along with a statement, Brock Bowers has 70 receptions on the season thus far. That puts him on pace to break the rookie receiving record for most receptions in a year, in their rookie year, among all positions, not just tight ends. And who has that record?
Before I go in, do you have any guesses, Matt?
The current players?
The player that has it is in the league currently.
Oh.
That'll be your first hint. And I have another hint.
I'm probably going to need those because...
Well, the next hint, because I'll be honest, I'm surprised you guys don't know this.
Hold up. All right, ready? Is it Puka Nacua?
Yes.
It is. Yeah,
Yes.
I thought about this for way too long. I started on AJ Green. At one point, I worked my way over to Michael Thomas or Odell Beckham. And then I just all of a sudden, had the realization. I was just like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Didn't Puka Nacua break some kind of record last year?
Puka broke every record. Rookie receiving yards, rookie receptions, Puka went crazy because Puka's really good. But now, the bonus question is that Brock Bowers is currently at 706 receiving yards, on pace to go over 1,000 yards by a good bit. Only 2 rookie tight ends have reached that 1,000-yard mark in their rookie season. Who are those? And there is a hint. I have already given a hint as to who one of them is.
I don't know what the hint was, but this one I
don't know the hint.
At some point in this episode, I gave a hint.
Interesting. Okay. Honestly, I was surprised I got the last one. I thought this was the one I was more confident in. So I think the 2 that it is I'm pretty sure Kyle Pitts had 1,000 yards, barely. I'm pretty sure he had 1,008 yards, or he barely got it. And then did Rob Gronkowski have 1,000 yards in his rookie year?
Kyle Pitts is correct. Gronk did not. But
Kyle
Pitts did. Kyle Pitts peaked as a freshman. But no, the second one is the one that I did put a hint for this trivia answer in the news and notes of this week. But
It must be. Is it George Kittle? No, Kittle. There's no way Kittle had 1,000 yards his rookie season.
this player is not currently playing.
That makes it even more confusing, if I'm being honest. Because, bro,
Yeah,
all those
now I'm
OG
even more
tight
lost.
ends who I was thinking about, none of them were like Antonio Gates, Vernon Davis, Greg Olson, Jason Witten. None of those guys had more than like 3,000 yard seasons in their career. There's no way
Yeah,
any of them had
no,
them
you're
as a
right.
rookie. 1,000 yards
No.
as a rookie, and you said he's not currently playing.
He's not currently playing. Your best chance is to try to figure out what my hint was in the news and notes.
I didn't get no news and notes.
That's literally me going through this week.
Oh.
Yeah.
Josh, I'm
Was there a phrase that I focused on maybe more more than most?
Oh.
kicking and screaming.
Kicking and screaming.
And this is the question where you understand this reference. But I don't think you will if you didn't get it immediately, which is a damn
Wow.
shame because it was a great hint.
Damn. I feel bad.
Kicking and Screaming is a Will Ferrell movie
Yes, it is.
starring Will Ferrell alongside The Answer, Mike Ditka. The Bears tight end turned Bears coach.
I never would have gotten that in a million years.
Mm-mm.
See, Kicking and Screaming is a well-known movie for me. My brother Nate actually dressed up as Mike Ditka from Kicking and Screaming for Halloween.
Does Mike Ditka play the dad?
No, Will Ferrell plays the dad. Mike Ditka plays Mike Ditka.
Mike Ditka's in that movie as himself?
Yeah.
I do not remember this. It has been a really long
Oh.
time since I've seen
It's
that
a great movie.
I don't
Fair
remember
enough.
this whatsoever. And to be
Well, yes.
fair, by the dad, I meant Will Ferrell's dad.
No.
I have no clue what
Also
Mike
doesn't
Ditka
play
looks
him.
like, by the way. I should throw that out there. I know who this
Dude.
is. I have no idea what they look like.
Dude,
Yeah, no.
he's great. He's a glorious man.
Well, damn. Mike
But
Ditka.
I am bummed because I was really happy with that hint.
Well, it was a good hint, Josh. I'm sorry.
It really
Thanks.
was. I'm sorry that
Uh,
me and teammate fucked it up.
That's okay. No, I'm not going to share screen because that would fuck with the editing. I was going to
Please
show you a
don't.
picture of Mike Ditka, and then I decided that would be rude to Tyler. But that does it for the trivia, which you guys did get the first two. You got Puka Nacua and Kyle Pitts, and Mike Ditka was the tough one, unless you had seen Kicking and Screaming. Probably a couple times.
Now we know what Josh's favorite movie is.
It's up there. We had it on DVD. It was one of those, like, not a lot of people know it, but you had it on DVD, so you had to watch it a lot.
Josh, the
Yeah.
only time I think that I ever saw Kicking and Screaming was at your house, actually.
Well, there you go.
I remember watching it at your house. I don't know
Tracks.
if I ever saw it at. I feel like I also saw it at Tasker Sports Camp for some reason, though.
Yeah, probably
No
did.
track.
Great movie. But on to our next segment, where Josh's fucking shit. Fuck, it's Mike Ditka, you motherfucker. Bed shitter of the. I'm gonna keep this going because Tyler didn't know Kicking and Screaming, and you gotta type it all out. And I don't even care if you put no effort into it, because this is what you deserve. I decided of the week. So yeah, that's for you. This week, dude, I feel like he shows up in the bed shitter or the big man option every week. It's Garrett Wilson, because the hot and cold this man goes through is insane. And really, the bed shitter is Gabe. He started George Kittle and lost by 4 points. But if I were to
just
choose a
saying
player,
shit on Victor for not setting this lineup, but he loves to start Kittle when he's not playing.
yeah,
It is always George Kittle too, who he starts when he's out.
Strictly him.
yeah.
Strictly him.
He just Victor had his times at the start of the season, but now it's just Gabe that keeps.
What's really
Doing
frustrating is
Kittle.
that Gabe is still somehow kind of in playoff contention.
Yeah, if Gabe
Yeah.
had started someone else, he'd be really in playoff contention. Of course, his backup tight end is Freiermuth, who would not have scored enough to have him win. So he would have had to pick someone up. But he could have picked up someone better than Freiermuth. Such as Taysom Hill, who dropped up so many points. But yeah, so bed shitter of the week, Garrett Wilson, but really Gabe. Big man of the week. The big man. I mean, it's Jonnu Smith. I hate the man, but I respect him. First of all, he's a traitor. Goes to the Dolphins and is suddenly taking targets from Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. And why couldn't you do that on the Patriots?
Bro, I blame the Patriots. They didn't use him at all.
Yeah, no, I do. Drake May would have used him. He would have been great. But oh well. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's not like the Dolphins are very good.
I feel like I've
Jonnu-
shown up in the. I feel like I've been the big man option at least 3 times this season now. I feel like I've been here
Yeah.
quite a bit.
Yeah, your ass has been saved, I guess, by very select players. But
Yeah, considering that my points for are kind
You
of
are.
ass, and yet I'm in the playoffs, kind of.
here you are, 6-5. And-
Actually, I don't know if you know this off the top of your head, Josh, but a question about our playoff tiebreakers. That word, because I couldn't find it. Does head-to-head record supersede points for or no?
I don't believe so. I believe it is only points for.
Okay,
Hoping that your win over Jordan would help you.
Would be a lot more important.
Yeah.
And potentially my win over Andy if I somehow finesse that week 14 without
Week
Jonathan
14
Taylor
is going to be a tough one without Jonathan Taylor
or my
or
quarterbacks.
yeah. Easy.
I also have another question. Speaking of, while we're on it,
Love questions.
Me too.
there's 10 teams. So if the season ended right now, technically Tyler wouldn't even be in anything, right? He wouldn't be in the toilet bowl or playoffs, right?
Nope.
No, the middle 2 teams are kind of like no man's land.
Middle 2 teams.
that's what I
just
thought.
chill. That was me and Tyler in the last year. 5th and
just wanted
6th
to
place,
clarify.
baby. Yep. But yeah, which is wild. The 3-6, and we're going through this assuming that we know how all the games shake out this week, which they for the most part seemed pretty set.
I think now the only one that was like remotely up for debate, in my opinion, was if I would beat Jordan, and that is. I don't want to
Decided.
jinx
Now,
myself,
official.
but unless like CeeDee Lamb fumbles it and then CJ Stroud throws like 2 interceptions,
Yeah,
It's-
Jordan's
we're-
chances are
we're-
3%.
we're pretty sure.
Oh yeah. I'd say you're good. It would be so
I'm
cool if
looking at
CJ
it.
Stroud threw a touchdown to Nico Collins right now. That would be so swanky. But
But
fine.
alas,
now, speaking of all these standings, we have a power rankings episode. So,
I love it when we have a power rankings episode.
yeah, every few weeks, this may be our last power ranking. This will probably be our last power rankings episode before the playoffs. After this, it'll be looking more at the specific playoff picture rather than looking at power rankings.
Mm.
So, yeah, this is it. Tyler, I ranked them. Tyler, did you generally agree with my rankings enough to leave them?
I actually think that I did not change your rankings at
Cool.
all.
It looks like I left it. So, do we want to go bottom, top, bottom?
Let's go bottom to top.
Bottom, top. All right. Bringing up the rear. It's not bonkside kicks.
Let's go.
They went up. It's the only 3-7 team that lost, or 3-6 team that lost this week. No, 3-7 team that lost this week.
And 7.
Yep. Becoming 3-8. It's Big Steve's, big ballers. And yeah, what are you gonna do, man?
Big Steve's. Big Steve's, big ballers, baby.
He had hope, but I mean, he's just not performing.
Yeah, and honestly, earlier in the season, even with his bad record, his points for were still actually top in the league. Now his points for are much more middling. Has the worst record in the league. So yeah, I mean, there's just no way you don't bring up the rear of these power rankings, you know.
Yeah, he still has more points for than me, but not where
I'm
it
looking at
counts.
the schedule ahead. He has a tough schedule ahead of him.
Oh yeah.
Against Tyler, Gabe.
Assuming Gabe starts his
Next week.
guys.
Going up against the Mud Dogs.
Yeah.
We got a tough week coming up towards the playoffs.
I'm seeing a toilet bowl coming up for this guy, I gotta say. But coming up next, just above him, raising up a whole one spot.
Let's go.
Alongside kicks coming in. And man, I mean, you're going, man. You're getting to that 4-7. And
Hey, listen, I'm getting there.
yeah, and again, like we mentioned before, your keepers are going to be insane. Brock Bowers and Brian Thomas, I swear, are two of the best keepers.
Without a doubt.
Like, to be able to go into future years with.
Seeing the rookies and they're putting up the numbers that they are, it's no
insane.
way that I'm going to let them go.
Yeah. And then it would be, I don't know if Caleb Williams will end up being, he'll probably be worth it, but he would have to, like, they just got a new offensive coordinator, so he has a chance to turn it around in these last few weeks, but we'll see. But those two alone are massive. I mean, Brock Bowers is, yeah, I am jealous of that pick. But you still
Brock, baby.
Probably heading for that toilet bowl as well.
Oh no, I'm well aware I'm going there. I think last time I was a guest on the show, way back when my record was even worse than it. I don't think I had even a win back then. My goal coming into it was just don't lose toilet bowl.
Yeah.
You know? I knew it wasn't going to be a playoff team. The get-go. That's something you just got to kind of own.
Yeah.
You got to know what you're playing for. That's important.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And coming up after you, now there is another 4-7 team, but I feel that the 5-6 team of Granny's Gold Galleons is just a little worse based on the fact that one, they just lost to the Softies.
They lost
and
to
two,
the Soft.
They lost because their manager just didn't help them. And sometimes you just gotta bet. I mean, this was a matchup of two mediocre teams, but one of the managers is really trying and just kind of not getting lucky. It's got a little screwed by an Anthony Richardson. And the other manager, I feel like also got unlucky with McCaffrey, but has Kittle, still playing Kittle. Like, really had some lucky hits and he's just not making use. And, I mean, that's what's going to happen, Gabe. I expect you to be in the toilet bowl as well at this point. Especially, and you're currently set to go in the toilet bowl because everyone else is 6-5 in the division.
Pretty difficult schedule at the end of the year too for Granny's Gold. So
yeah, I believe I'm facing them one of the weeks.
You are not.
I'm not.
No.
Well, dang.
You're facing McConkey.
Oh yeah, actually, mine.
McConkey next week.
I got it.
Mud
Josh,
Dogs
if you're looking at the
after.
Show doc, it's in the chart.
Oh, nice.
For seven of the teams.
Whoa, wait. How'd you do that?
How'd I do what?
Was this here or was this always here?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The chart, the playoff breakdown and odds.
No, I
Okay.
just added that.
I was like, I expected to like look down and see that you typed like a line of like Gabe faces this, and this, and I looked down and it's a full chart of like scoundrels, record, points for, Gremlin.
Yeah.
He's got a whole thing. He'll probably add it in the episode and you'll see it. But wow,
No.
cool.
Anyway.
While we're on the topic of records and stuff, I got a quick question. It kind of ties into, could probably wait until later, but Tyler's gambling corner. I feel like next year we should implement gambling on the teams.
We'll get to that.
Strange that you would ask about that.
Actually.
Crazy you'd bring that
So
up.
crazy. We'll
Continue
we'll
on, I'm
revisit
sorry.
that later, actually. So after Granny's Gold Galleon, like I said, Charmin Ultra Softies coming
Yeah.
in. They got the win over Granny's. Brees Hall had a good game. Does it stick? Who knows? But Anthony Richardson going pretty well. And like we've talked about it before, this team has been really good on the waiver wire. And it just, sometimes it doesn't pan out. They grabbed Juwan Jennings. He looks like he's going to be a really good guy going into the playoffs, into the toilet bowl maybe. But I would say that this is the epitome of the like, man, I'm afraid to face that team in the toilet bowl. That's the only place where I'm going to face them, but I'm afraid to face them there.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So watch out for them. And then we come into our little run of the top of. Well, no, we don't come into High Life yet because at the bottom of the 6 and 5 teams, Aaron Rodgers Hate Club, did they just beat me? Yeah. But if I'm being honest, I still, when I look at their team, do not have the faith to put them above Drunken Dragons and SCLSU Mud Dogs. I mean, they had a good week.
They did,
But,
and
I mean-
that deserves credit. But overall, I mean, this team still has some pretty obvious holes in it. With obviously that second flex spot being the most obvious hole. Austin Eckler really hit or miss at the running back. Khalil Shakir not the best. So, and then really the lack of depth on the bench.
I feel like you can't really guarantee Goff going off for 51 points every week.
yeah, that tends.
No,
You can't always count on that, can you?
Yeah, no.
especially with someone like Goff. I mean, if it was a different quarterback, maybe. Goff, I can't really picture him putting up over 400 yards on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, the Lions are insane, and they better win the Super Bowl at this point because they look better than every team out there.
They do.
But
It's a solid roster.
if we can see like the Chargers have looked good, if we could see a Chargers Lions Super Bowl, how great would that be?
I feel like nobody's talking. Like, the Chargers are 7-3, and I feel like nobody is talking about the Chargers.
I feel like
Single
they
person.
started hitting the ground running, and like I love the Commanders this year because I have money on them, but the Lions are going to beat them. That's just how it's going to be, and I accept that.
Commanders
But-
might not even make the playoffs still.
I know the Commanders might not, but Bo Nix might win Rookie of the Year. Just it might happen,
Very
and
well
honestly,
might
it
happen.
might be worth betting on. But yeah, now after Aaron Rodgers Hate Club, we begin our run of the 6 and 5 High Life Division teams with a back-to-back of the Drunken Dragons at 5, the SCLSU Mud Dogs at 4. Both these teams are doing well. The SCLSU Mud Dogs are on something like a 3-game losing streak.
3-game skid, and I don't see an obvious reason as to why either. I mean, I don't know. When you look at this roster, there's still a lot of talent here. I mean, especially with the players they have on bye this week, they're still, putting together a good starting roster. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what this team's missing right now.
Yeah. Hopefully they get it together, but man, this team has a lot going for it. It would be a shame if they somehow missed the playoffs because one more loss and their competitors winning could knock them out of it. It is a really close race over here now. And right after them, we have the Drunken Dragons, who has had a slew of injuries. As unlucky as the SCLSU Mud Dogs have been, the Drunken Dragons have held on somehow.
We're
And
here, baby.
yeah, hopefully this Jonathan Taylor trade will help. Some really good quarterback choices in Bo Nix. But man, CeeDee Lamb is in a rough spot. AJ Brown has been doing well, but not, it doesn't seem like he always does.
Not carrying as
And-
much now.
But Brian Robinson now, you have both of my running backs in Brian Robinson and Jonathan Taylor. So hopefully those will, help stabilize your team a little bit.
Yeah.
Speaking of my guy, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, and especially if Mari Cooper can come off this injury and start playing like when he first got to the Bills, that first couple games he looked real good. Ricky Pearsall just put up a fat goose egg, but I was really hoping he might be a late season help, but we'll see. We'll see. It's the push for the playoffs right now.
Yeah. And after that, in third place, we have the Basement Gremlins, who it's been a real up and down year. But Nico Collins is finally back, and honestly, a lot of this team, aka my team, is going to be relying on Nico Collins. He was the wide R1, just in total, the best wide receiver in fantasy when he got injured. If he comes back to that, then I'm liking the odds. If not, then I don't know. Some injuries have come through. We've lost Rashee Rice. We've lost Brandon Ayuk. We lost Dak Prescott.
I feel like
And
you are you're a classic example of, talk shit, get hit type of.
yep. And
Yeah.
I pride myself in that. I'm happy to, whenever I am doing well, I want to invite terror upon me if need be for the comedic effect on others.
Maybe you should
But-
rethink that strategy.
Well, once I win, maybe I won't, because I'm still gonna win. Is the thing. Come from third. But yeah, it's been tough, and we need Tyreek Hill to do some stuff. Yeah, but Justin Herbert, fire dude, scored almost as many points as Jameis Winston this week. Cool.
I mean, if it makes you feel any better, Patty Mahomes, since Drake May's been kind of doing his thing, Patty Mahomes really has been pretty
Yeah.
much, and they're kind of neck and neck with Drake May. So,
That does
this
make you
seems
feel
like a
better.
second
Patrick
year.
Mahomes has been just not. He's a great quarterback, not great fantasy, it seems.
It's gonna be another Brady. Someone said it. I
Yeah.
forgot who it was.
I think Sam Losh might have mentioned that. At least to me. I don't know if that was a public thing. Bringing up first and second. I'll go to first place. I'll jump to first. And it has to be them, right?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. This was their worst. This was their bye week, essentially. They were missing Baker.
They were missing Baker. They still have the best record in the league. It's hard not to put your only 8-win team at the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
That
this is
said,
Baker.
though, this number 2 team,
Is looking mighty scary and probably will pass soon. But
yeah.
number 1 is
Mhm.
Victor with the Notorious Scoundrels, who they took the L this week to the Bongside Kicks.
Go.
But
This team's
He
going
has
to get
the best
exposed, I'm
record.
telling you.
and And now, they have T. Higgins, who went off, and they have Calvin Ridley, who has a really good schedule at the end of the year. Chase Brown, who's shown up. Jay Gibbs, who's really good. Gardner Minshew, who's still scored, but Baker Mayfield on. But it's just they keep having the players that are just suddenly going off.
Yeah.
And it's just a full they can't keep getting away with this, but they didn't this week at least.
No, they didn't.
But
Thank God.
yeah, the team
I
that
find. Alright, I'm sorry.
Oh no. If you're still talking about that, I was gonna move on.
What I find totally ironic is that, Victor had a completely auto draft team. Tyler had a not completely auto draft, but mostly auto draft team.
Yeah.
Tyler ended up with 4 QBs, and Victor ends up number 1 in the league.
Yeah.
There's got to be something off here.
Dude, I
This is absolute collusion against me by the sleeper auto draft system.
It truly is. And I mean we went through the draft when Victor was a guest. And he did say he chose some of those players.
Yeah.
To be fair. But man.
Wouldn't it be
This
great if
asshole.
Nico Collins just caught a 33-yard
Yeah.
pass from CJ Stroud?
Yeah. It would be did he?
Yes.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's-
Right now.
All right. No, what? All right. Oh, your game. Yeah.
In the
Sorry.
number 2 spot.
So in the number 2 spot, which by the way, one more thing on Victor, I'm not sure if people remember, but almost the exact same thing happened last year. If people remember, Victor was weirdly good
Even though he
off of an
auto-drafted.
I remember
auto-drafted
that.
team. Yeah, he actually was weirdly good. He drafted Jonathan Taylor when everyone was like, no, he has contract disputes and all that. And then Jonathan Taylor was good, and Cooper Kupp was good, and he just had the guys that were. So he's just doing it again. But in the number 2 seed, arguably the team to be most afraid of, even though there's still a chance they get knocked out of the playoffs, it's She Love My McConkey, because Bengals go Burr, and, well, more specifically, Bengals go Burrow, I guess. But Kelsey has been going off.
Never
Kupp is
say
going
that
off.
again.
Fuck you, I'll say what I want.
I almost stopped you after you said the first part about Go Burr, and then you continued it, and God, never say that again, please.
Too bad.
I will retire from this show.
God damn it. Hey, wait a second. Hey, Tyler. Have you done a bench press this week?
You didn't say it specifically had to be a bench press. Hold on.
Sorry. Did you work out?
I did.
Okay,
One time.
fine.
Hey, to
We
be
had a
fair, I was also sick for 3 days.
All right, fine. We had a deal. I told him he had to work out or I'm not going to be on the show.
I did it.
And I forgot until now. But, yeah.
Good.
She Love My McConkey just has good players, and that's how it be. Cup,
Elite team.
I remember saying he got Cup at a steal, and that stands true. But yeah. Of course, Waddle not doing too hot. And the Bengals do have a very tough end of season schedule. So that's going to be the question. So, and apparently Kelsey can have down weeks. 2 for 4 and 8 yards. Not something I expected Kelsey to have. But, ooh. We'll see. Next week, I believe he goes against Gabe? But,
Who?
McConkey.
McConkey. Yeah. McConkey's
Yeah.
got a real easy end of the season schedule.
Yeah. Hey, maybe Gabe can pull off a win with both Bengals on bye week.
We'll see. We'll see.
Could be something.
It'll be
yeah,
helpful
so-
for me.
But yeah. So Andrew may rise up those ranks pretty soon. But that does it for the power rankings of this week. And the final power rankings of the year, I think.
Most likely.
Most likely. So, which brings us to Down Bad Manager of the Week. You don't even deserve to be talked about that much. Gabe, start anyone. Just if they're hurt, don't start them.
If you
Someone
got to
else.
dance 2 years in a row, dude, we might have to relegate you out of the league.
Dude, I swear to God, I'll start a second league just to relegate you to it.
You'll just be in there by yourself.
I'll do that. But, anyway, a quick look at the playoff picture.
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
It hasn't changed, actually. The Mud Dogs are still facing McConkey, as even though the Dragons are tied in the record, they have the least points for.
Yep.
And the Scoundrels and Gremlins still lead in the Twee division, facing off against each other. Although the gap is closing with Aaron Rodgers Hate Club moving up. So there's something to look out for there. Not as much with the High Life division, but definitely something.
Yeah.
Now,
Do you want to talk on the chart on this, or do you want to save that for later?
we can talk briefly on the chart. The chart.
The chart is just a breakdown
Up
of.
to you. Up to you. What do you want to do with the chart? When do you want to discuss the chart?
I mean, I think we might as well discuss it now. We're talking playoff picture.
Let's go for it. All right, Tyler,
Already mentioned it.
go for it.
So, basically, what we're looking at here is just kind of the breakdown of what does every team's path to the playoffs look like. At this point, I don't think technically anyone is mathematically eliminated except for maybe Steve. But we have 7 teams that are really in contention to make the playoffs right here. So, starting off with, you're the Twee division, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we're Twee. Your High Life.
So starting off with the Twee division, the Scoundrels 8-3, pretty likely to make the playoffs. They do have to play both of the teams below them, though. That is really the only way that the Scoundrels fall out of the playoffs, is if they manage to choke all 3 of these remaining games, including 2 to the teams in their division. So for Water, it's kind of the opposite, where they need Scoundrels to choke out, or they need Gremlins to lose a few, and they, by beating the Scoundrels, can help themselves a lot. Scoundrels, though, have by far the easiest playoff route, with the Gremlins, Water, and Charmin Ultra Softies coming up. Josh, you have probably the most difficult remaining schedule amongst the 3 playoff contenders here. You have to play the Scoundrels themselves this week. Then you play the Charmin Ultra Softies, one of probably the best toilet bowl team. And then you have to play the Mud Dogs. So how do you feel right now? I mean, especially now that you have a team that's only 1 game behind you.
I felt better last week, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna beat too much H2O, and I'll be fine." Now it is a lot more worrisome. However, I think that I can beat at least 2 of these teams, and I don't expect too much H2O, to win out anyway. So
it certainly would be surprising.
It would be surprising for them to win out, so I feel pretty comfortable in that, because I do have more points for. So specifically, I would have to, if he won out, and he needs to win 2 games and I lose 2 more games than me.
He probably can't catch up in points for, so he most likely needs to have a better record than one of you.
Yeah. So if I can just win 2 of these games, I seal it. And if he loses 1 game, then it gets a lot easier for me. Every game he loses is another game I can lose, which is lovely. So I'm still pretty confident, pretty comfortable.
Next week he's facing the Scoundrels, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm pretty.
I mean, that's the thing is, it's not good that he's playing the Scoundrels, but the thing is he killed 2 birds, 1 stone. I mean, kind of like he beat you. That made it a lot closer. And same thing is, if he beats the Scoundrels and gets a little lucky, I mean, the path is there. Is it likely? No. I would say out of the 7 teams here, he's probably 6 in terms of likelihood to make the playoffs, but...
Yeah. But that's the less interesting division. I want to hear more about the the Dogs, McConkey, Dragons,
Yeah.
and Galleon.
Yeah, High Life is close.
So 3 6-5 teams, 1 5-6 teams. 2 definitive leaders in points for is the big story of this division now with the Mud Dogs, and she loves my McConkey kind of having chokehold leads on having more points for than the Dragons or the Galleons. The Galleons, I mean, at 5 and 6, their route to the playoffs is by far the most difficult. Again, because they would need to have a better record than Dogs or McConkey, and their remaining schedule is just brutal. I mean, they have to play my McConkey this week, then they have to play the Mud Dogs the week after, and then they have to play Big Steve's Big Ballers, which, while an easy game, still not a cakewalk for this team. I mean, it's pretty simple. The path for this team to make the playoffs is they win out. And what is interesting is, unlike Aaron Rodgers' Hate Club, this team controls their own destiny. Because if they win those first 2 games, giving losses to McConkey and the Mud Dogs, they're putting themselves in a position to really make the playoffs. But without winning out, this team just doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to be interesting revisiting in. And we'll be discussing this more. Like, this will become the primary topic in weeks to come, looking at who's in the playoffs, what has to happen for certain playoffs to happen. But for now, we can move on to upset of the week quickly, which I foolishly, sillily thought that Gabe would win. I thought Gabe would beat the Ultra Softies. So it would have been really cool if Gabe managed his team. But no, don't bet on the manager. Just
No, you mean bet on the manager.
yeah, bet on the manager.
Because I bet on this manager right here. Let's go!
Tyler did bet on the manager and bet on Bong side kicks to beat the notorious.
Go, baby.
Matt, I owe you a huge thanks for this segment in general, because Josh and I were talking about it today. You're gonna get your 4th win of the year, right? Of your 4 wins, 3 of those wins were in weeks that I picked you to win. And in general, I've bet on you 4 times and you've won 3 times for me.
Which I have heard, and I really appreciate the support, because I feel like you're really my number 1 supporter in this league.
I absolutely
you said at the beginning of the year. You said at the beginning, like, I could be a sleeper team, and my record might not show it, but I have my weeks.
Hey, and I know we already talked about it, but you are primed to have an excellent season next year with your keepers. Yeah, so,
absolutely.
Just because you didn't win this season doesn't mean you didn't have a good year, if that makes sense. Because
absolutely,
you're gonna, as long as you can avoid losing the toilet bowl, you can bring some really great keepers in the next year, and I would consider that in some capacity a win of its own.
Yeah,
how about the future?
Yeah, you had a great draft for the future. That's all that matters. Now, this week, I am taking my turn in rooting for Matt, because my pick is Bong side kicks over the Charmin Ultra Softies. So hopefully I can make a little bit of a comeback here, because I don't think I actually can make a comeback. It is now 5-8. I have 5 correct picks. Tyler has 8. So we have 3 weeks left in the regular season. We won't be doing this in the playoffs, so the best I can do is tie. So here we are.
You're buying a jersey.
What happens if we tie?
I'm going to buy a jersey, it seems, because that's all we ever got.
We're not going to tie, that's why. Don't worry about it.
We're not going to tie.
Yeah.
We're not going to tie. Because, Tyler, what's your pick?
Josh, I'm playing psychological games with you this week. I'm picking you. I'm picking you. I don't even remember who. Oh, you're playing the Scoundrels this week, yeah. So
Yep.
I think you're in a good position to beat them. I looked; they got a couple buys going on. Overall, I think you're always a solid pick to beat the Scoundrels. So
Yeah, and I think I got them too, which sucks.
I also
You know, if
think
we-
I voted as much as I've picked for Matt. I now feel like I've picked against the Scoundrels fairly often as well.
I wonder if
I feel
you've
like you have
picked,
as
because
well.
they've only lost 3 games. I wonder how many of those you picked against.
I'm gonna say, I mean, this one maybe one other.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have gotten any more than that.
I picked them to win one of their losses, I know.
Well, that's
So one of-
tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that was rough.
Clearly, you and gambling just don't.
I was gonna say this segment is just honestly also connected to you're bad. You're just bad at picking the
I'm
winning
bad at this.
teams.
I'm bad. I just don't. Whatever. Also, by the way, shout out to Sam. He picked the upset of him beating me, and then he beat me. So that's
Savage, cold blooded,
whatever.
ice in the
I
veins.
love that. Calling out the win.
Yeah.
Call your shot, kid.
Yeah. This segment's not my forte. Speaking of
Okay.
not my forte, Tyler, take it away.
Josh, thank you for possibly your best transition in this entire series. Welcome
Thanks.
back to the Degenerate Gambling
The
Corner.
defeated look.
We win money, we lose money, we do it together.
I don't
this
win money.
week-
I lose it alone.
Yes. That seems like a you problem now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I forgot. What did I win for you? Not if assuming the Commanders don't win the Super Bowl. What did I win?
So here's the thing. What you changed the bet to was that you'll take whatever I managed to get. Which was a silly thing for you to bet.
What was the original bet?
The original was $10. Then you're like, you know what, Josh? Don't worry about it. I'll just take whatever you can manage to get, as if I wouldn't be betting everything.
When did I?
It's literally on video. Like I. Can
When
go-
I don't remember this. What was I on that day? What?
I don't know. I mean, you were drinking.
Damn it!
But
I need to see the tape on this. It's not
and
that
like
I
I
don't
would
believe
feel
you,
bad
but
about it if I wasn't gonna buy a jersey for something or another. So
I mean, I also, no offense, Josh, I didn't need your $12 that badly.
fuck, it's 12 now. It's damn it.
What I do want is a nice, shiny, brand new Bo Nix jersey.
Ooh, fair enough.
But
I'll see what I can do.
getting into the gambling, we're going to start with the not real gambling, which is had some discussions with Andrew Umanzer of My McConkey, and he requested that we update the lines for everybody to make the playoffs and win their division. And when I say win the division, I mean take the #1 overall seed, not to win it in the playoffs. So we're going to run through this super quickly, but I'm interested, Josh and Matt, if you guys have any feedback on what you think of this. Andy, I'm interested to hear what you think of these numbers. I kind of just threw them together, but let's get into it. So, Scoundrels to make the playoffs, -450. To win their division, -180. Gremlins to make the playoffs, -155. To win the division, +125. Too Much Water, Aaron Rodgers Hate Club. To make the playoffs, +175. To win their division, +275. I'm going to pause there. Do we have any thoughts so far?
I know so little about gambling. I just don't like. It seems good.
The bigger the positive number, the
No, I
less
know.
likely.
I get that.
The
I get
bigger
that.
the negative number, the
get
smaller
that.
whatever.
But
I mean, as much as I know gambling, these numbers are very much fabricated.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are not accurate representations of odds.
yeah, sure, they're good.
I mean, Josh, how do you feel about your odds? Do you feel that -155 is an accurate place for you to be at to make the playoffs?
I'd take those odds.
I feel like it's more of a -75, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Sure.
All right, so he's feeling a little bit more confident in you then. So
Yeah,
minus 175. I like that.
yeah, yeah.
All right. Coming into the other division, we have my McConkey minus 190 to win the division. To make the playoffs, my bad. Minus 115 to win the division. The Dogs minus 130 to make the playoffs, plus 135 to win the division. The Dragons plus 140 to make the playoffs, plus 275 to win the division. And Josh, if you had 13 cents, this is where you should be putting it because we got Granny Skull Galleon plus 550 to make the playoffs, plus 1,200 to win the division.
No shit.
Love it. And I do like that we have this because we're also going to be debuting something that has nothing to do with these numbers themselves,
But
like in spirit. But I mean, I'll be honest, this is more for Andrew than anyone. It's fun to look at, but there's nothing I can do with it except to know that if I chose to bet on one of them, I'd be wrong. That's all.
well, Andy, Josh, I'm sorry to hear that. Andy, that's for you. Let us know what you think. But now getting on to the shit that you can actually bet on, baby.
I just want to be clear. Andrew, you better comment down below. You better comment and say you enjoyed this.
No, you don't have to say that. I want a full set of odds from you, though. The odds that I gave, I want your full set of odds.
I want updated odds.
From you, live, in the comments. I demand it now.
Yep. If you don't, I'm pulling the plug.
I agree.
I don't know what plug.
This segment, I will pull the plug in the gambling segment.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Which I'm going to start by saying, to be fair, a lot of the stuff that I say that I'm going to bet on here, I end up not betting on because as the week gets closer and more odds come out, things change. But here's a great pick for you. We're taking 3 teams all to cover 2.5 point spreads. These are 3 teams that definitively should win. We're taking on them to get the job done, basically. First off, we got the Bucks at the Giants, taking them to win by 3. The Giants are just a disaster. They're starting Tommy DeVito. The Bucks on the other hand. The Bucks, on the other hand, that 4-6 record does not accurately describe this team. 3 of those losses most recently have been to the Ravens, to the Chiefs, and to the 49ers. This is a team that still is in fringe playoff discussion, so I think they're going to come out hot this week. They don't want to let the Giants be the team that wrecks their playoff hopes. Speaking of teams with playoff hopes, we're also taking Denver to cover a 3-point spread at Las Vegas. Raiders, again, another team that just looks horrible. Only 2 wins. Broncos, on the other hand, even in their losses they've had this season, they've mostly been relatively close, except for that one to Baltimore. But Broncos are really hitting their stride late in the year. Bo Nix coming off an incredible game. They're pushing for the playoffs. They're in the playoffs, so division games can be tricky, but I do expect Denver to get the job done. Speaking of division games, we have Houston, the only home team we're picking. We're taking them at home again to win by 3. They're playing Tennessee. Similar story to what we just talked about. It's a division game, but Tennessee has been bad all year. Houston, while most likely in the playoffs, does not have it locked up right now. I mean, I think, only 2 games ahead of the Colts. It would be a pretty disastrous breakdown for the Houston to miss the playoffs, but they don't want to take a step closer this week by losing to the Titans. So you put these 3 games together, you're getting yourself a solid plus 205, which for these 3 games, I feel really good about that number.
I actually really like I don't want to fuck up your winning, but this is something that I'd really like to bet on. If you'd allow me.
Do it.
Cool.
Go for it.
Tune in
It's-
next week to see who has better luck.
But
Because
yeah,
I'm gonna put money on this.
that's it for this week on talking about gambling. Tune back in
Yeah.
next week, and we'll see where we're at.
Yeah. Now on that, there is one more thing related to gambling, and the last thing that we'll talk about in the podcast, which is something me and Tyler have discussed earlier today. We will be opening up a betting pool for the playoffs to bet what teams you think will win the playoffs or will lose the toilet bowl. We will have more details on how this is going to go next week on the podcast, so listen in. And I'll probably make a post for the sleeper chat as well. But essentially what it will consist of is something of live odds that will just be you putting your money in, and odds will just have to be decided by what money people put on who.
Yeah,
So-
the reward payout will be based on a pool. I will not be personally backing the book here, so
Yeah,
Not
we're not going to be
happening.
doing that. But reward payouts will be based on the pool, and we'll be figuring out how we're going to do it. But essentially, after the Week 14 games and those few days before that Thursday night game leading up, that's when betting will be open. Betting will lock in once that Thursday night game starts, and from then on through the playoffs, you will be able to track your bets. We might change that around, but that's what we're working with now. So
Yeah.
get ready for some blood, sweat, and beers in league betting, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So that's Matt. I hope you have a little excitement for that one.
yes,
I did,
everybody
and I'm
everybody
excited.
should bet, in my opinion. Support the
Yeah.
league, make it fun. Even if you throw $20 in the pool, throw it
That's
on somebody.
wild. That
Throw it on
$20
yourself.
is your low amount when dues is $30. Like, dude, throw $5 in. It does not need to be.
I have actively pushed that we should be paying higher dues. We are all grown adults with full-time jobs and minimal living expenses.
That's not everyone has been put up in a hotel by their restaurant for less.
Whoa. Okay. Didn't need to get personal with it. Jeez.
All
I
right.
feel targeted.
Yeah,
Yeah, you should.
you were.
I feel called out. I don't think that
Yeah.
could apply to that many people in this league, Josh. I feel like I was,
You're right. You're right.
attacked a little bit there. I feel attacked.
Yeah, no, you're right. You were.
I don't appreciate
Okay.
it.
So on that note, that's okay. On that note, another week in the books. Set your fucking lineups, Gabe, and watch some football. And we will see you next week. Thank you, and have a good night.